And the winners of the Best Entertainment
Podcast
is
This Paranormal Life!
All right, are you recording? Let's do this.
Welcome back to This Paranormal Life,
The comedy paranormal podcast where every week
we investigate a different paranormal tale, case, or claim.
and come to a conclusion as to whether or not it is truly paranormal. Why does he have a microphone?
That pisses me off, alright? That's so disturbing.
Presented by Rory Powers and Kit Greer, This Paranormal Life, where two self-styled experts on the paranormal cast a sceptical, jokey eye over some of the outlandish claims and otherworldly accounts out there.
Rory Powers and Kit Greer, an award-winning and frighteningly popular paranormal podcast, This Paranormal Life. They have listeners from all over the world.
We love
This Paranormal Life!
This Paranormal Life.
This Paranormal Life!
This Paranormal Life.
Hey! We're here,
Hello.
baby!
This
Episode
paranormal who?
400!
What the hell?
Oh my goodness!
Cheers to that, my friend.
Cheers.
Woo!
The big 400.
Cheers
Cheers to you guys.
Oh my god. I would love it if I got this completely wrong. We're not streaming to anyone right now.
That was the sixth time we just did that. Yeah.
An empty room. Hopefully everyone can see us. Hopefully you're getting us loud and clear. And welcome to the live stream to celebrate 400 episodes
Wow.
of This Paranormal Life. Oh my goodness.
I'm hyped up after that little intro. I feel like a Stone Cold Steve Austin entering the room. We're going out after this, right, guys?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I think that is the kind of hype video that we've used since episode 200.
Nothing's changed.
Literally, it all kind of
works.
peaked in
It
that
works.
in those years, and we've just. I think it's actually quite funny. The start where it goes from 2025 backwards to like tick 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 tick. Every time we use it, I have to add more years because the original video started like 2022. Tick 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 tick.
Right.
And
I was
now
going
we're
to say,
like,
you must have had some faith in the pod if you put 2025 back in 2019.
Yeah. We come from the future to look back at the past.
That's
How's everybody doing out there? Unfortunately, I'm the only one that can see chat right now, so I'll be relaying all of your lovely messages to my buddies right here.
you can also
Be nice. Please be
arguably
nice.
say whatever you want, and then he can just filter it if it's too mean.
Patrick says, cheers from Toronto. Congratulations on 400. Congrats, guys. Love from New Zealand.
Wow.
Ashley says, Rory, do a backflip. You guys know I can. You know that I can. I think we're a little tight for space
Do
right
we though?
now.
Because the thing is, Rory,
Tight.
he's good at filmography. He's good at filmmaking. We know that. He went to film school. He knows how to do special effects.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, whenever I was in the room and I saw that video, I was like, is this like Avatar? Is it his face on a, like, I think it
A
might have
motion
been like
capture
Rey
thing, yeah.
Mysterio or something like
Got
that.
Mateo to do it
Yeah.
instead. Who knows?
I like who's the guy who does Smeagol?
Andy Serkis.
Andy
yeah.
Serkis. I reversed it where instead of turning me, a human, into a monkey, I got a monkey to flip and put my face on the monkey's body. That's why my posture goes weird halfway through the flip.
Oh, so that's just not you normally.
All
Okay,
I'm saying
gotcha.
is, there's a little bit of real. We've got no
We do,
real estate.
yeah,
He
look,
has
like,
a little bit of
There's
real
a tiny
estate
bit of floor right
No!
here.
outside of the office.
Right
so-
here.
No. I just don't want to like hit a wire and unplug the stream mid flip.
You know.
Maybe at the end.
Yeah,
Hey, stick around, everyone. Maybe
There's
it'll
still
end
time.
with a flip. Wow, we have over 250 people right now watching live, which is incredible
I
given the
also-
poor amount of promotion we gave the live stream.
No description in the video in the stream description. I mean, you said people are tuning in from Iran. That's amazing, especially since I don't have my phone on me, but I don't know what time it is in New Zealand. Presumably, it's still 2024 there. That's what I would have thought.
Right,
So,
yeah.
So thank you for your commitment.
Hey, people are coming in from everywhere. We're talking Los Angeles, Dublin, PA, from India. Wow, listening to
Wow.
their first episode of This Paranormal Life in 2025. That is crazy.
That's no pressure then. Okay.
Joey says, Rory in charge of chat, booze involved, nothing can go wrong. Amanda's just joining, don't worry, you didn't miss anything. We're just starting.
Literally just started, yeah.
So let us know if you can hear us all okay. Someone said Kit's mic is a little quiet.
Okay.
So
I'll try and speak up. Yeah, I think I might just need to stay a bit closer. Hello. But let me know. I know we were reminiscing on. It's been a while since we've done one of these, and I think it probably was episode 300, which is about 2 years ago. And we were. Yeah, the chat will remember that. We were beset by audio issues, just issue after issue.
which one was that?
It was because I think episode 300. So, I mean, if you've missed it
man.
and you want to relive the audio issues, I think you can watch that on our YouTube.
Do you remember why that was?
Because I was in charge of technical issues.
What is that? What it was?
Well, in general, it was in my house, I think.
Oh, the stream, right? The stream that we did. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
tuned in
is
for that
correct.
actually. You guys mentioned that you were getting yourselves a new editor, so I was like, I'll tune into that.
Oh,
I'll give it a
God.
wee watch.
Right.
I think I left a couple of comments like, "Yeah, you're goddamn right. You're goddamn right. You get a new editor."
You're commenting like, I heard this Phil guy's pretty
He's
good.
kind of nice actually. He's really,
dropping a
really...
comment. Fucking clouds.
I love that we got stream sniped, but it's just you getting a job.
Yeah.
Killing us in a game. Katie says, crack open the tiny heinies. Lavender, I've been listening since 2018. I'm so hyped for episode 400.
Oh, man.
Natalie says, real talk, are you guys still not getting paid by YouTube? lots of great questions in the chat
I was
today.
having a good time until you reminded me.
No, welcome everyone to the stream to celebrate 400. You know, we wanted to do something special to celebrate this milestone, but of course, we've just come out of the fact that we've done our best of episode, our big Q&A episode, our Christmas episode. There's so many specials going on that we didn't necessarily think it was the right time to do something kind of in person, like a live event or something like that. But we still wanted to celebrate it. So we did do a stream like this in the past, and it was a great success. We had a lot of fun doing it. So we thought, why don't we do that again today? You know, Kit's in town. We've been recording podcasts all week. So why not kick back on the day that 400 is dropping and have some drinks and look back at the history of this paranormal life from its inception to the current day.
Oh, I'm so excited to see.
Wow.
I'm so excited to see young Kit and Rory.
Yeah, I mean, so you know, for some of these people, you know, I know we have a lot of day ones here who've been listening since the very beginning, but we will also have some people who maybe started listening in 2019, 2020, 2023, who knows?
Right.
They might not know about the humbling origins, let's say, of the podcast.
Yeah.
And yeah, 'cause, you know, there's a lot of podcasts these days that I think episode 1, they're in the Spotify studios with cameras rolling and they
Right.
know what they're doing.
Yes, I mean, if you look at the charts these days, it's a who's who of A-list celebrities.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, all these guys. And yeah, I am a little worried what Phil just said, because he's actually never seen us back in the day, and kind of because he hadn't seen it, I was kind of seeding.
I can finally put the high pitched voice to the face. I really can.
Because for the last 2 years, I've been saying to Phil's like, despite our voices, we were actually incredibly jacked. In the early years. Life got in the way since then, but yeah, unfortunately,
Life got in the way. You got married. You got married. You got married. You
yeah,
had a kid.
washed up. The truth is going to come out. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Rory. We started this paranormal life. We were joking about this earlier today, that whenever we started, we thought we were way too late. We thought the rising tide had gone and left us behind, and we were like, well, what the hell? We might have missed the golden era of podcasting, but we'll just make it for fun anyway. And then kind of weirdly, as time has gone on, looking back, it looks like we were not like that early to the party, but
Yeah.
like, oh my God, things have changed so much.
Right
So
place, right
much.
time.
And like, yeah, as you say, like these days, you know, less and less people start off in the bedroom. But I don't know if you could even describe our first podcast studio as a bedroom.
No, we would dream about a bedroom. That was Studio 4, I think we made it to a
We
bedroom.
were Harry Potter living under the stairs.
So yeah, we're gonna see a lot of great photos from the vaults of TPL, some of which I'm not sure that people have ever seen before. You know, everything from the first episodes of the podcast, us filming them, to going as far as to show messages from me and Kit when the podcast was kind of going live for the first time.
Sure.
That's the level of exposure you guys are getting today. Real behind the curtain stuff.
That's cool.
But yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining. Great to have everyone today. I am going to be trying to keep up with messages as best as I can. Some people are very excited about seeing photos of long hair Kit,
Okay, fire.
which
I mean,
is
hey,
great.
this is a treat for the senses. We're already getting glasses, Rory.
I know.
Short hair, Phil. Relatively short.
Relatively
Phil.
short. Relatively short.
So you know, yeah, I need
Long-haired Kit, can't wait. I've seen like the odd long-haired Kit photo, but I'm ready to see all of it.
Yeah, we need to give the people some eye candy as well.
Yeah, I feel like I had a cool thing going today. I actually turned up to work in my Kona Brewery Big Wave t-shirt,
Yeah, you're
drinking
mentally
a-
still on holiday.
drinking a Monster Energy drink, and then the closer we got to having to prepare for this live stream, the glasses kind of came on. The Ethernet ports got connected, and I suddenly just kind of transformed into it was like the reverse where the Hulk becomes Bruce Banner. And I was like kind of cool and buff, and then all of a sudden I'm like, well, we should actually test this to see if the Ethernet cable it will be connected even if I have my
Clark
Wi-Fi
Kent looking
enabled.
This is like, yeah, for a lot of people who've just got off work, this is like being back in a Zoom meeting where he's like, can everyone hear
We'll
me
circle back to
okay?"
that. We'll circle back to that
Yeah.
tomorrow.
I love that if people didn't actually realize that as soon as the podcast ends, I just deflate like a balloon. And I'm like, I think that was a really good episode. And they're like, you have to stop trying to be a different person on the podcast.
Oh shit, we're still live. Okay, what's up, dudes?
M says, drink the Buckfast for episode 400. It's only remarkable they said that because you can only see about a centimeter of the Buckfast, but someone has
There it
managed to
is,
see it.
This is the problem with going live, is you guys can peer pressure us, really. Yeah, there it
We're
is.
very easily peer pressured.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'll leave it near Phil then.
Well, hey,
Well, at least give me the goblet. At least give me the tiny little goblet. if
yeah,
you're
you know
gonna-
what? I just want to point out, some of you probably won't have had the chance to listen to episode 400 just yet, but two of the individuals at this table did do a shot already to celebrate 400, and one of them didn't. So
That's true.
that's great. Is it so crazy now that the other person should have to do the shot
Oh, wait, can I
to
swear?
kick off the stream?
Ah.
It does almost kind of seem like you're not really celebrating 400.
Well, no, yeah, come on.
Yeah.
I gotta join in the celebrations. I gotta drink with the lads. You know, I gotta be part
so
of the team.
bordering on workplace harassment.
This is not a culture that we like to promote. I want to be very clear. We're like, drink if you want. If you don't, it's okay. That is fine. To be fair, I think we have, me being on the Coronas, Kit being on the Heineken Zeros. We kind of got like a shoulder devil, shoulder angel thing going on.
That's true.
That's our
true.
HR department. At this company.
And that ain't a joke. That ain't a joke.
That's it.
Right, give me the crystal
Oh,
skull.
right.
Give me the
Hell
alien
yeah.
skull vodka. Come on.
Where is it?
Hell yeah. If you want. If you're comfortable doing it.
I am comfortable doing it, and I'm going to do it.
There we
You
go.
have the option of the UFO shot glass or tiny goblet.
We
I
Kit
feel
and I
like
both
tiny-
made the mistake of pouring way too
I
large
feel like
a shot.
tiny goblet is more prestigious, so
Fair.
I'm gonna do that.
It's
I'm gonna try and knock it out over the tech.
It is, yeah, good shot. You are sitting right above all the audio gear, which is so precarious.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely didn't get mad.
Oh,
Tiny bit more, because
tiny bit more if you want.
we
A tiny bit more. A tiny bit more.
That's sensible, yeah, because we went way.
Did
too
you go all the
far
way
with
to the
that.
top? Like,
Yeah.
fucking
we,
hell.
we were talking about that today because the episode's just come out.
Like, that is
And,
so much liquid.
You're
That is
getting a
so
lot of
much liquid.
drinking chants in the chat, Phil. There's a lot of peer
We
pressure.
like to drink with Phil. Phil is our mate. But we were talking about it earlier today, and like that episode, man, a lot more cuts, a lot more edits had to be made to that episode than normal.
Yeah, I think we cut out like a good 10 minutes after. Like,
and then
an
like,
extra 10 minutes.
and then you think allegedly alcohol takes like 10 minutes to kick in or something, or 15 minutes, but like as soon as we take that shot, it goes off the rails, doesn't it? It just
So quickly.
yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
All right, well, cheers, fellas. Here's the
Sunshine.
400. Here's the
Cheers.
400.
Cheers.
400. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, genuinely.
Cheers to the
Cheers
stream.
to you.
Cilantro.
The lost city of cilantro.
I love saying that now. I don't need juice.
Honestly, that went down better than I thought
It's
it
good
would.
stuff.
It's actually
not
not bad
bad.
vodka.
That's not
You
bad.
just don't want a second gulp. You just need
Yeah.
to do it in one.
Okay.
Do it in one.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Well, thank you everyone for joining. Look, I think we just get into this. We're gonna have so many amazing stories and things to tell you guys as we dive into the future of this paranormal life. So why don't we kick things
The
off?
future. This is a slideshow of the future.
It's a slideshow involved, well, maybe not the future, but pretty much up to as close to the
Okay.
future as it can be, the current day.
From the past to the future.
Nice.
Got it.
So why don't we kick things off with our first slide?
We've, by the way, Rory has maybe
There's
seen
nothing
this.
on the screen.
I know, don't worry. That's
me,
fine. Hold up.
Me and Phil have not seen this.
No, we have no idea what's coming up.
Yeah, I'm still seeing a few people saying that Kit's mic is a little low.
Okay.
But I think
Hang
it might be the angle of talking into...
Yeah, it
I'll
could
just-
be.
I'll
it
turn
could
up a
be.
little
Yeah, you crank it up. So I'm
Turn 'em up half a dB. Half a dB.
Let me type. Yeah, I'm two. Yeah.
Hey!
Oh, that's a little loud. Whoa. That's better.
Yeah, you're sure you're coming through.
Nice.
Roy
Okay,
made
let me
a
know.
PowerPoint. He did. The glasses are on, guys. I'm making keynote presentations, PowerPoints. I'm pitching to the board.
There's a spreadsheet at the end. Believe it or not, there's a spreadsheet.
Burgundy Goat says, bottom up, and the devil laughs. Something to think about.
Something to think about. Something to think about.
Al Dusty says, snooze pouches for 400.
Why do you torment us?
Oh, God.
Why do you torment
Hey,
us?
I still haven't done them yet, so you know.
Oh god,
you know,
anything can happen.
it's all to play for. It's all to play for.
Okay, jeez, I fucking hate live streaming so much. Because, of course, you do a little tweak, and then everyone's like, Kit's mic is booming. It's like, it's so loud.
Shit. Hang on.
A little loud now. Okay,
You
turn
know.
it down halfway
But hey,
from the
yeah,
bass.
split the difference. It wouldn't. I'm gonna keep talking. It wouldn't be a TPL live stream if Kit didn't fuck up the audio. Even when I'm not in charge.
I also shouldn't trust
Hello.
anyone, because we're all being
Hello.
compressed.
Yeah. Okay.
He's fine. I can see it now.
Okay.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. No more messaging about the mics.
Top of the morning to you.
All right, there you go. It's been slightly corrected. Let's dive into the presentation.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Sploosh.
So, things all started. At first,
This was the big bang.
yeah.
How far back are we going, Rory?
In the beginning, there was nothing. Okay? And then it all started when your mum met your dad.
Whoa!
Oh my god.
Justin Bieber? Holy
Wow.
shit.
Yeah, that's how old we're going.
Esplendido.
I think we were maybe 15 at this time. Shouldn't be drinking
That
beers.
was fun,
checks
yeah.
out.
But yeah, as you can see, very little has changed.
What's like the statute of limitations on this? I think occasionally people will say that like we look like we could be brothers. Back then we could have been.
Yeah, like
Why are we
genuinely.
so
Both
rosy
very
cheeked?
rosy cheeks. Yeah, very rosy cheeks.
It's so weird. We look like we're in an ad for Kinder chocolate.
You'd have probably had the same hair underneath that beanie as well.
Oh,
Surely.
that's funny.
We did.
That's true.
We did. Lisa says, too young to be drinking.
It was a zero. We
It's a
had
different
zero.
time. It's a different time.
It was a zero. Yeah. I don't even think zeros existed back then. But it's true. This is Kit and I growing
Wow.
up back together in Northern Ireland. A friendship that would then blossom into this wonderful podcast that is on episode 400. The
Wow.
fun thing about this presentation is I don't really remember what's coming up next, so we get to discover that together.
Amazing.
God.
Oh, here we go. So this is one of the earliest messages I could find about the podcast. I was hoping I could find, the original one that was like, hey, we should make a podcast
Yeah.
or something like that. But one of the earliest I could find was on the 2nd of May, 2017, when I guess we had started filming the first couple episodes of the show, but still kind of editing things. That would have been The Man Who Punched Bigfoot, maybe Atlantis, The Frog Man,
Yep.
the Axe Wielding Goat Man. I think all of those original ones would have been recorded during this period.
The kind of Mount Rushmore of this Paranormal Life episode.
Yeah.
Foundation.
I also love the confidence of me replying. I found a page that lists a bunch of paranormal creatures, and oh my god, I have so much material for future podcasts.
I like to think that was the same page you discovered the wind tosser on, and you were like, yeah, this could
At no
for the
point
future.
did I think I would need 400 episodes worth of monsters. There were probably like 9 on this BuzzFeed article, and I was like, oh, we're good for a while, dude. Don't worry about that. I thought this was great. Unfortunately, I tried to go back and find messages even earlier, but it got so early where I was like, am I into emails at this point?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. I think you've done well because I think I've looked back at times too. And because I'd love to see, what pictures and stuff we were sending each other back then. But yeah, you've done well. Yeah, that's literally within days of launching the show.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because it came out in May
Yeah.
2017. These might have been Twitter messages, weirdly enough.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Rory went investigative journalist
Hell
mode.
yeah.
So here we are
Those
in
long flowing locks. Hell yeah.
in what is the first place we ever recorded, which was Kit's house in New Cross.
Yes.
A place that, I mean, I don't even have a lot of photos and videos from this place for a lot of reasons, because we were just trying to record the audio.
Sure.
But I mean, there's another good reason why we don't talk about this place. Because you can't really see it from Kit's picture, but you can kind of see it from my very cool, moody picture. It was just cement bricks for walls.
Yeah, it was kind of a breeze block house. Yeah.
It was something one of the little piggies would build that a wolf would imminently come and blow down. It was
Yeah.
made of stone,
Yeah.
essentially.
It was, Rory had been in London a long time at this point, and I was a fresh babe coming to the city with my bandmates. I'd moved with a band
That's right.
to London, and we all got a house together. It was very just like Irish and London vibes. But I was tasked with finding the house. Everyone else was too busy. I think I had a part-time job or something, so everyone else was too busy to find a place. I hunted around. The first question they ask you, it turns out, when you're trying to rent a house is, do you have a job? And I was like, not in London, I don't. And they were like, great, you can't live here then. And so it was pretty tough. And then,
Wait, I meant I do have a job. It's very hard to go
could
back
I have
on
just
that.
said yes just then? And I did
Is that a trick question?
I had a very awkward experience of that, where a guy was like, he was just like, no, of course I'm not renting this to you. And then he was like, all right, we're done here. And then we got outside, and then he could see I had a really long way to walk back to the train station. He was like, do you want to ride? Do you want to lift? I was like, yeah, please. Anyway, I was tasked with getting some accommodation.
You
And
got in
then-
a stranger's car? You just got in some fella's car?
It was a different time.
He was
Phil.
a
It was like the
fresh face.
60s.
He just moved to London. He thought that's what the big
That's
city
what they
was.
do. Yeah,
He
exactly.
thought people didn't lock their doors. Everyone got rides. Yeah.
I was like fucking Timothée Chalamet's Wonka. I was giving away all my money to people in the street. But I found, long story short, I found a woman on Gumtree who was like, cash offer, cash only, come view a house. And I turned up to this building in New Cross.
Yeah.
New Cross is a great place, but it's rough around the edges. And I got to the building, and I just turned up with like whatever, like £1,500 in cash. Handed her an envelope, and she was like, "Happy days." There's it. No contracts, nothing, no deposits.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing. And the
Nice.
house reflected that. And but this was our living room. Utterly miserable, utterly freezing, breeze block walls. And I think that was where the first recordings took place.
It was.
We were recording into ridiculous microphones here.
Yep.
Sometimes drum microphones, sometimes microphones for singing. None of it really worked properly. And that really came out in the recordings, didn't it?
Yeah, lots of reverb and bounce off of those cold walls. I remember it being freezing in that
Cold
house.
walls, yeah.
But I mean, this is, hilariously enough, this would have been the place where people, where we recorded a lot of people's favorite early episodes, including the early Atlantis episode was recorded in this apartment. Right. So I guess quite a few episodes in the beginning were recorded in this place in New Cross.
You've basically gone from one prison to another, right?
Yeah.
Except with less breeze blocks, I suppose.
One good thing about breeze block walls, no noise complaints.
Good stuff.
You can scream as loud as you want, it turns out.
Well, unfortunately, there was one part of this house that wasn't made of cement.
Huh?
And we discovered quite quickly which part of it was. And it was also subsequently one of the reasons we had to stop recording in this studio. Some of you may have seen this video before, but some of you might be about to see something that is an important part of this Paranormal Life history.
Oh, okay.
I believe this was during a recording break of the podcast. I thought it would be funny to get Kit to film me in a skit for, I don't know, Twitter. Did we even have a Twitter at that point?
Yeah, I don't think we had any social media in the beginning.
And the clip would be me saying the words, "Things are about to get paranormal,
Okay.
but don't flip out." and then I was going to try and do a kickflip on a skateboard. And I was like, it'll be kind of funny if I miss it, but kind of cool if I land it.
Yeah.
So either way, this can't go wrong.
Yeah, not that good if you landed it as well. It would
Yeah.
just be like, okay.
It just would have been
You
kind
did
of
it.
cool, I
Yeah.
guess. But
Weird flex, but okay.
so here you go. Here's the video. This was also recorded, I believe, the day before you moved out.
Yes.
You guys had
The pla- you-
everything
I mean, you'll
packed
see
up.
the place is completely bare. yeah.
Completely spotless. I think they'd done their like final inspection and cleaning, so everything was approved. You were moving out the next
I like
day.
you think that there was an inspection, but go on.
And then here's the video, I believe. Things are about to get paranormal, but don't flip out.
Oh my god. That's such a huge hole. Oh my god.
Enormous.
It's massive.
It's enormously large.
It's not just like a dent from your elbow or something. It's a Rory-sized hole.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Shoulder, full arm.
It looks like the
wall.
Winter Soldier, like punched a hole. It looks like from something from a Marvel movie. I wonder if I can. Yeah, there you go.
God damn.
So my landlady was regretting maybe not getting me to give her a deposit at that point.
There it
Trap
is,
door
yeah.
that Coraline crawls through. Oh my god. It's massive.
So big.
You can crawl through that. You can actually crawl through that if you wanted to.
What a great YouTube thumbnail.
Way ahead of the game.
Yeah, I was doing the Mr. Beast reaction thumbnail face before anyone was doing it. Incredible. Someone said, "Can we see it again?" Yeah, why not?
Of course.
Why
go
not?
on.
I think I have
About
that
to get
capability.
paranormal.
You know, not even a funny joke.
No,
Not
no,
even
no.
a good
No
video
writing
worth it.
involved.
Flip out. Hey,
Oh, it's
great.
so
there you
good.
go.
It's so
Beautiful.
good. That's like real like 2016 Vine energy. That's
Oh,
what
that would
is.
have killed on Vine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know
2
why.
million at the least, surely.
I think we eventually released it on Patreon at one point as like an incentive to be like, look, if you want to see the video we've talked about, you can go look at it on Patreon. I think the statute of limitations has given up
Yeah.
now, so we can legally show that video. An important part of TPL history, and that actually was the last time we ever recorded in the New Cross studio. Jumping forward. Oh, here you go. This is actually really exciting. So we recorded all the podcasts in there, started releasing them, but of course we didn't have any video footage because we weren't filming anything. No one was filming podcasts at the time. So to do a bit of promo, we put together this video that I think the day the podcast was released, this went out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere.
Do you describe the cattle mutilations, Rory?
I don't know! Books aren't much help when you're face to face with
Right,
a demon.
We had no press
Before
quotes
being
at
blasted
this
in the
time.
chest
None.
by a laser
He got his
beam.
fingers blasted off. You saw it in the video.
Have you ever had astronaut food?
Yeah.
It doesn't float. Okay, that's why I bought the f***ing ice cream in the first
That's why I
place.
bought a year's supply of astronaut food. It's actually heavy as shit.
SoundCloud as well.
It was kind of funny watching that video back, and I was like, that's kind of a joke or a rant I would do now about buying astronaut food.
I think you
because
did it.
thought
You did it the other day, I'm pretty sure.
Did I?
Yeah, it was on a recent podcast. We were talking. Yeah, that came up, and you were like, anyway, and I knew we had talked about it before. Couldn't remember where. There you go.
A good
There you
idea
go.
is a good idea forever. A lot of people are losing it over the voices.
Yeah, God.
I don't.
I know.
Yeah.
I was talking to Rory about that earlier, and Phil helped put it together, but that was very important to me for episode 400.
Yeah.
To really just like audio fucking Marmite. And the audio equivalent of like of just a drill. Just having to hear me and Rory in 2017. So it's like whiplash
Man.
hearing
It
the
was just-
podcast today
it
and
was
then
just-
cutting backwards.
It's funny like sticking those clips into the episode because I had to like turn them down by about 10 decibels
Yeah.
to make it palatable.
Yeah, like
So
DF,
loud.
noise.
So
Like, how can I
loud.
just remove as much audio as I
Yeah,
possibly can?
remove energy.
Oh, I didn't realize you opened the call.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Ah, fuck it, whatever.
We like to drink with
Oh, fuck.
If Phil wants to. Wow, Natalie says I used to listen on SoundCloud. Yeah, I
That's
mean,
cool.
we were hosted on SoundCloud for longer than we'd even like to admit. I think it was years and years and years of the podcast until they kind of changed and we had to swap up. But they were great for a long time.
Yeah,
I used to like SoundCloud a lot.
I was talking about that recently with someone, another friend of ours actually, who has a horror podcast, Mike from Evolution of Horror, and talking about people who've been podcasting long enough that they remember when it was just audio, because so many of us now, we spend time doing things like this, doing live streams and putting up videos on social media. And yeah, absolutely mental that we really recorded the podcast, slapped together a logo with a Bigfoot on it.
Oh my God.
Stuck it on SoundCloud, and then didn't promote it whatsoever. Just didn't have any social media, no Twitter, no Instagram, whatever.
What's the wildest color combination we could think of? Burgundy and yellow.
Yeah.
That'll pop.
Mauve and yellow, yeah.
So wild.
I'm so glad you've still kept that, like, for the very earliest episodes on Spotify. Like, don't change that. You can't change that.
I'm like, we can change that? Oh, 100%. 100%.
So what I'm trying to say is, if you were listening to us back then, as some of you will have been, utter miracle that you found us. Utter miracle.
And a miracle you stuck around. Genuinely. Yeah, thank you. I think what we're going to see in today's presentation is there are a number of points along the road where many of you should have dropped off. It's a kind of a miracle that a lot of you stayed throughout this entire period. A lot of people are already enjoying the skateboarding videos. Some people have never even heard the story before.
Yeah,
or seen the video.
Very cool.
I guess we haven't talked about it in a long time. That's absolutely crazy. Amanda's got a good question. Guys, serious question. Did the voice change happen due to mic changes or better voices?
Such a good question.
Yeah.
I would love to say it was mic changes. No, better voices is actually the exact scientific term I would use to describe the changes.
I think so. I think that's... yeah.
Did you watch those videos on YouTube which were like, how to sound more professional, how to sound more manly, how to
Rizmax, how to lower my voice.
Austin Butler's Elvis tutorial. Yeah. Welcome to this paranormal life, baby. Thomas Robinson says, I've been there for the royalty-free Loveland frog sounds. That's how early it's been around. This is, so cool. So cool to see everyone chiming in from talking about as early as they started. And we're up to, Jesus Christ, 350 people.
Whoa, wow.
My God.
Wow. Thank you so much for
in this room currently? Holy shit.
Don't worry. We are only in... This is only the first first room we ever recorded in. There are many more rooms to go.
Let's go.
Let's get
generous
continue
description.
the presentation. Here we go. This is an amazing...
Oh, yeah.
Above Joe Rogan.
Pump it into my
Hell yeah.
veins. I need to get this shit framed. I need to get it framed.
That's great. Only 37 reviews as well. Like, fuck yeah.
I think this must have been the first month-ish that the podcast went live, because all of these are in May. So this must have been, episodes that have come out in May, been updating.
Yeah, it was probably the first week, yeah.
So it was probably our first week where, yes, we did launch with 3 episodes or 5, I don't remember. But yeah, to give you an indication of the size and the competition, the landscape of the podcasting industry at this point, we were just above Joe Rogan in the comedy channel.
There was 4 podcasts in existence. No, there weren't, of course. We of course took a screenshot of this because we were incredibly stoked to see it, and it surpassed all our expectations. We had a feeling that if we launched and told as many of our mates as we could to go and listen, that we might get on. There used to be a bit, and that might be how some of you found us, on the front of the Apple podcast page, or on iTunes as it was at the time, it would say new and noteworthy podcasts.
Yeah.
And that was how a lot of people discovered shows, was just if you were new and a few people were listening to you, get popped up there. And we did. And one of the great downstream effects of that was we entered the charts. And so I think I had lots of screenshots, of very excited screenshots. I still remember taking them.
Moving up, moving down.
I think there's one where we're like 150th in the charts. And I'm like, I'm like nose bleeding, just fainting.
Yeah.
And then
by the time you hit 5, you're just kind of over it. Yeah. Whatever.
I think this must have been the high point or something. But just so absurd. Now that Joe Rogan kind of runs America, just feels even more mad to look at.
Dude, I know. Like, look at even No Such Thing as a Fish with 908 reviews. I mean, we've had Dan Schreiber from No Such Thing as a
Pretty
Fish
cool.
on this podcast. They are, I believe, now the biggest, if one of the biggest UK podcasts.
Yeah, probably the big one.
Which is crazy. Oh, so cool to see that, you know, he's been in this fight as long as we have.
Been in the game.
But yeah, it's really cool. This was probably based on the aspect ratio. I think this was screenshot on an iPhone 3.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's a small screen, isn't
That
it?
is
That's a
it's
small
a
screen.
square.
It was a screenshot on a Kindle, I think. Yeah.
That is crazy. Govin says, you guys were the first podcast I listened to ever. Brenna
Wow.
says, I started listening around episode 5 just from a random search of paranormal.
I know
Good
that
stuff.
we've talked about that's a fun bit of trivia. Sometimes people will say to us on tour or something like that, they'll say, it's like, I wish I could say I was day 1, but I think I got you guys at episode 4. And then we would kind of chuckle and be like, well, the first 4 episodes came out on day 1, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah.
you didn't miss anything. Yeah.
Well, there you go, Rick, who said, I've been listening since episode 4. I found you guys on the iTunes recommendation and never stopped. So, Rick, you can call yourself a day 1.
That's it.
You've been here since the very
Fun
beginning.
fact.
I believe after our success that we had, we moved on
I thought that was me for a sec.
we moved on to our, I'll give you a little glimpse of, there you go, there's Rory hiding behind you there.
Wow.
This was our, I would say second studio, but there was a time where we would take it in turns to record in New Cross and then in Canada Water.
Yeah, where you were living, yeah.
It'd be one or the other. This was my apartment in Canada Water, which
Decidedly nicer.
warmer for sure.
Nice, for sure. Nicer. I mean, what was nicer about it? Neighborhood, sure. Building, of course.
Walls,
Roommates, absolutely.
no giant Hulk hole in the wall. Yeah, I actually really loved this house that I lived in. It was very weird. I think it was 4 stories tall, or maybe even 5. Maybe there was a room at the top, but there were 6 to 7 people living in the house. So
Right,
it was
big
like
house.
you thought it was big, but then of course like one floor is just the entrance, then another floor is the kitchen living room. So it was this very strange house, including this weird room we used to record in. I don't know if you remember it. It had these weird white sofas, the like gray shaggy carpet, and I mean slightly better and softer sounding than the New Cross stuff. But yes, this was still very early on in our podcast journey.
And do you remember why we took these photos? Because I do.
I don't remember why we took them. I'm just incredibly embarrassed to look back now thinking that we thought these were high quality enough to be our press pictures. Because it was for press, right?
That's all I was gonna say. Yeah, it was when we got a little clipping in the Guardian. We got contacted by someone at the Guardian, being like, new shows that are out and these guys are doing well, so let's talk to them. But they were like, we need some photos, guys. Send them over as fast as you can. And we were like, oh fuck, we don't have a single photo of ourselves.
Yeah.
So
We got a video of Rory smashing a wall.
That dude.
Just me like,
The pog face. Yeah.
so this was our best attempt at a little. Presumably the camera was on a timer or something. It's so low resolution and grey, but it did the job. It did the job. They used it.
I think we might have got longtime Rory and Kit camera woman Danny to take these photos.
Do you think?
Wow.
I think
Did Danny set foot in
think she
Canada
did,
Water?
'cause
I guess so.
Because she was with you in New Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like I think there
Cool.
was a bit of an overlap. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. First lady of the podcast, Danielle, who might be listening to this. We met right before I moved to London. So Danielle has seen all of this painfully up close. I think she'll tell you.
Kit, you're getting glazed up in the comments.
Okay.
Someone said, chill out, Kit Cobain. Another one said, Kit looks like a rock star headed for the 27 Club.
Oh shit.
At that time, you saw the house I lived in. I was headed for the 27th Club. We know that.
And someone said, Rory, is that an Overwatch t-shirt?
I thought it was a Black Ops t-shirt.
Black. It's
that
Overwatch. You know, both of us going through exciting points in our lives. You know, I just started working at IGN, so that's why I was cool.
Right.
Sure.
Kit was actually in London playing in a band. I think you guys had a
Arguably
label deal
cooler.
at that point, so it was
Right.
like just
Yeah.
being a rock star. And I was actually
Rockstar and
hosting UK
gamer.
news on IGN.com, which was also very cool. So, you know, two cool guys.
Two sides of a different coin.
And to answer your questions, no, this is not the casting couch.
God
I want to
damn it.
make that
I wondered why it was so white. Like, Jesus.
This is not actually interesting to anyone, but one of my favorite things about you living there was at the time I was working at the Tate Britain museum gallery, and it was so rarely are things this beautifully convenient in London. So far was my work from where you lived. But the C10 bus, the C10 Canada Water bus, it stopped. It had a stop that was
Yes.
called Tate Britain, and then it had a stop which was 20
Rory's
seconds.
house.
It was the Rory's house stop.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful. I would clock
Oh.
off work, I would get out my laptop or whatever, and just like write scripts, and then it would take about an hour, and then it would drop me off at Rory's
Stars
house.
were
The
aligned.
C10. I still
Yes.
remember the C10.
Some things did work out for us. Yes.
Yeah. You know, it's if it's not obvious at this point, this was still a part of our journey where we were very much doing the podcasts in weekends and evenings. You know, at some point finishing work, going back to my house at 7, doing 2 to 3 podcasts until borderline midnight, and then still, because we didn't have a team or anything, then spending the week writing and editing them ourselves and scheduling for Tuesday. At this point, that might have even been the window where we were doing 2 episodes a week.
Yes.
There was a real grind. We weren't stupid enough to underappreciate the opportunity we had with the industry being small,
Right.
that we still did 2 episodes. So there was a lot of hustling going on, very DIY and messy, but it's nice now to look back at these days quite fondly. And I luckily did not fall and punch a hole in this wall.
Yeah, interesting. Didn't do it at your place, but did it at my place.
Natalie says, where was Phil back then?
Where was Phil?
In the
I
fucking
was...
womb, pretty much.
I was going to say I was probably still in high school at that point. No, I wasn't. I think I was in my first year of uni at that point, 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, I was hitting the ground running, recording music, playing in my band. Learn all about music production. That's where I was.
Yeah, he was learning all the
Grafting, just like you were with your band. you know?
learning all the stuff that would
Although
come to play.
arguably, you know, my band were a lot less, doing a lot less than you were at the time, but that's okay. That's okay.
I just don't admit how little we were doing, so that's the key.
Okay, fair. That's why we're living in New Cross. Okay, sure.
Anna Raquel brings up a good question. She said, I remember you guys said something once about considering doing a podcast about children's drawings before deciding on the paranormal. Was that real or was that a bit? That was real.
Briefly
Wow.
considered.
Briefly considered. We were going to host a podcast where we get parents to send in copies of their children's artwork, and Kit and I would roast it as if we are professional art critics.
You just know a celebrity is going to launch that podcast in the next 6 months. It'll be like John
Is James
Stewart
Acaster listening to
or
this?
James Acaster or
Oh.
something, and it'll be a hit show, and we'll be like, Mother of God.
They already do that where it's like chef reacts to the bear.
Yeah.
They'll just do
sure.
like, you know, art critic reacts to children's art.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it'll be. That's copyright, just in case anyone wants to take that.
Pending.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on slightly. We were still pretty early on in the journey.
On this paranormal life.
Oh, here you go. So here's an actual video.
It doesn't fit in the bowl.
We need to freeze frame on. Ladies and gentlemen, look at that microphone stand.
Yeah, let's detail
Nothing's
this exactly.
really changed.
Let's detail exactly what's going on here because I remember this so specifically. This is so. First off, the table we attached the mics to was made of glass.
Sure.
So when we were attaching the clamps, we had to use cup coasters on either side, or otherwise it would crack.
Crack,
the
yeah,
glass.
that's true. Yeah.
So the mic stand is attached to a table with coasters. The mic stand can't support itself.
It's broken. Yeah.
So,
it's
so we
completely
have
broken.
a portable radiator because the house is cold as shit. It's freezing. On top of a mic box.
Yeah.
And then it is resting with a pop shield swirled around awkwardly so you can't even see my face.
Yeah.
You were probably recording just looking at a black
You got
circle.
Mike Wazowski in that photo, in that video.
Yeah, but what you're looking at there is a Jenga tower. If you nudge that thing, the whole podcast comes crashing down.
Dad Quest Gaming says 2 irons. You can't hide money. People are going crazy over the irons.
I know. I was gonna say that's too many irons for one board.
That's how you know this is AI. It's just no household would have that.
It was a house where so many people were, like a lot of places in London, so many people were coming and going nonstop. Like you move in, you meet everyone. Next week, 2 people have gone, another person's in. So the living room kind of became this weird dumping ground where no one knew whose stuff belonged to the people who had left and who.
Yeah.
So I don't know who. I didn't. Those aren't my irons. I don't think if you asked anyone in the house, they'd be like,
Yeah,
I thought they were.
I was gonna say you're a man who's never ironed in his life. Never ironed in his life. So.
Accurate.
So just gonna quickly find a way to eat it.
all right.
That's cool.
All right. So it's a Rory Power stream.
we're gonna
now. Okay, are we gonna flip on Cyberpunk? All
I wish
right,
I could
cool.
turn on your
All right,
mics.
cool.
Yeah, turn off your mics.
God damn it.
All right. Yeah. This was actually a video from our Halloween episode that was recorded in Canada Water, where I don't know why I'm trying to put a banana in a cup of water, but I think the next clip you're gonna see is me bobbing for apples. Which, if you listen to that episode, you'll remember the recording, because I think we played this audio in the episode.
Yeah.
Shit.
How did kids do this? Little demon asses. Give me a freaking apple.
Hey, that's not
I got it! Oh my god.
There you go.
You know,
Nicely done.
I will say,
Fair play.
you know, they say, pornography, hard to describe, but you know it when you see it. Some people would pay good money for that on OnlyFans.
Right. If I just
Rory,
And you're
Bobby,
giving it to them for free on YouTube. Come on.
Rory dunking for apples.
the chat is like, just go ahead, take your shirt off. Spice things up.
Casey Carboni says, bro is dual wielding irons. 2 irons, your greed is disheartening. Seeing a lot of iron chat. King H says iron. Rory only knows gold. Love that. Love that. Appreciate that a lot.
Never got above gold in Overwatch though.
Is this right? Guava Girl says the apple told Kit that he'd marry Danielle.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Glad someone brought that up. Yeah. It's because there was these ancient Halloween traditions, there was a whole lore to each tradition. Don't remember the banana. Don't know what the fuck that was about. But the apple was like, you peel it or something, and then the peel will take the shape of the letter of your future love.
Wow.
And it formed a D. And Rory was like, isn't your girlfriend called Danielle? And I was like, oh shit. And then fast forward, and Danielle is my wife.
You just kind of had to commit to the bit this whole time.
He didn't even want to marry her at the time.
It's just like, but the apple said.
Can I ask the banana? Can I see the banana?
I think the kind of work description that you gave a minute ago of us working constantly late into the night every night, it's a miracle that Danielle stayed with me through those years, I think. So,
Genuinely.
yeah, so quite glad of that.
Yeah, because we're not even in the years that are coming where Danielle actually lived with us in a house where the podcast was being recorded.
God forbid.
After recording in New Cross and a little bit in Canada Water, we've been doing the show for probably 6-ish months at that point. As I said, up to 2 episodes a week. And it got to a point where Kid and I had a little conversation and said, this is unsustainable.
Sure.
This show needs to pay for the incredible amount of time that we are investing into it. And thus, the Patreon was born. We decided
we need a mic stand that works.
Yeah, honestly, we're spending so much time working on this that we were like, look, even if this thing makes $100 a month, you take 50, I take 50. That just pays for the amount of work we're putting into this thing.
Yeah, you're not like over exaggerating. That was the idea. We were like, man, 100 quid. That sounds good. 100 quid.
I was like,
mama,
that it will at least not be embarrassing.
Yeah.
That we tried this, and if I was like, if we get 100 quid, I won't delete it.
Yeah.
And delete all the tweets and pretend like we didn't ever launch a Patreon. But this was part of it. Was the original shirts that we launched with. In retrospect, on way too low a tier, including every reward, I think. But I think we all still have these shirts.
Yeah, there's something kicking
Yeah, you
about.
gave it to me on my first day. I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people in the chat are talking about how much they still have this shirt, the legacy
It's a
shirt.
great shirt.
It was a Patreon exclusive. We always kept it that way, and have till this day. You haven't been able to buy it in any of the stores or anything like that. And it is actually discontinued. So if you ever did manage to get one of these shirts, I mean, be very proud. Hold on to it. Take care of it, because it's only part of I don't know how many we ever created, but
Yeah,
it's not a huge amount.
Yeah, a few hundred, I guess. Yeah, very small amount. They were very soft. I remember that. Very soft.
But it was Aliens podcast says, I still have the note that came with the shirt too. I still don't know who wrote it. It would have been either myself or Kit. We, back at that point, we did handwrite every note that was sent with shirts.
Right.
It would take days sometimes to send the amount of shirts that we had. We would let them build up, and we'd start a construction line of person, size, note, package, complete.
Wow.
And it would just be your living room was just covered in shirts, labels, stickers, just hours and hours of writing notes, signing things. It was crazy.
I wonder if you ever accidentally sent any of your band shirts to the TBL with a note.
Yeah, it's funny. There was a long time when I should have got a photo of it, but I don't think I really have one. But those shirts, we have a really great supplier that we've used ever since then, actually, ever since the very beginning. Shout out to them. Oh, I meant to say shout out to the guys from the podcast who are just chiming in there. But these guys at Pins and Knuckles, they were supplying our shirts back then, and still have been for our most recent tour. So really great crowd.
Cool.
But whenever we got our first shirts, they came in a great big box, and then I kind of like adopted that box as like, okay, the shirts live there. No, we'll throw in the notes and the paper and the packaging, and then fuck it, we'll throw in like mic stands and things like that. We're not using. So the podcast like was a box.
It fit in a box
for years. It was just a
Everything.
box. Anything
In some
we were
ways, it still is.
there's boxes out of frame here, but I do have one of those boxes proudly in my house still with a bunch of old stuff in it, like Praise Ra t-shirts and random old artifacts.
Crazy.
So it's quite a strange thing to rummage through.
Yeah, I still love my shirt. that old logo was very, very cool. We have a message here in the chat from Danny Greer Mulvanna, who said, "Heyo, Cora is here too, but very busy watching Baby Shark in Spanish."
Baby Sharkcito.
Yeah.
Hello, Cora.
Baby
Hello.
Sharkcito.
And I don't know if she can hear me, but I've been bringing lots of my daughter Cora's phrases to the studio here. Phrases like, I'm Darwin when she's hungry, I'm starving. Or hello popcorn.
Hello, popcorn.
Which is how she
Yeah,
addresses
that's a good
everyone
one.
for some reason.
So
So glad Cora's getting started young on
Yeah.
this paranormal life.
Danny also says, "Guess who took those press shots?"
Okay.
Danny again.
Sorry.
She took.
Forgot.
I think she took almost every photo of us up until the point where we finally paid a professional. It was all
Yeah.
Danny
Yeah,
before
fair
that.
play, Danny.
Literally
was.
every shot. So thank you, Danny. You're the reason we ever got
True hero.
put in a newspaper for many, many years. A lot of people fangirling that Danny's in the chat right now. That's right. You have a celebrity.
Danny's
You
in the
feel
chat.
celebrity in the chat right now. Jesus, really? 400 people watching for episode 400?
Hell yeah.
Oh, wow.
Holy
This
crap.
is a lot.
Well, thank you, everyone. We're still so much to go in our presentation in the history of this paranormal life. I wish I had a picture of the Praise Ra shirt. I actually forgot that
Yeah,
existed.
I've never seen that, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite cute. It was like a little like chibi Ra. It was very
yeah,
cute.
That's cool.
Burgundy Goat says, Kit looks Darwin in this photo.
Not wrong. Not wrong. Not wrong.
So we launched the Patreon. As we said, we waited until our first Halloween. So it was literally October 31st in our first year that we launched the Patreon. And you were actually on tour at the time.
Oh god, I remember this.
It was a nightmare.
Oh man.
It was
yeah.
the worst thing we ever decided to do. It was
Yeah.
it was so
There was just
stressful.
so much to do. Yeah, and I didn't do that many tours with that band. But we did one really funny or a real fun one, I meant to say, with a band called Rocket Summer. If anyone listened to the Rocket Summer back in the day. And yeah, so I just have memory. Yeah, it was what it sounds like. I was just in the back of a transit van or whatever, just
Nice.
getting, we were going venue to venue around the UK, and just sitting in that van. They're like, Kit, we need to load in for, remember the show tonight? I'm like, yeah, right, but I haven't made a logo for the header that's gonna go on the Patreon, and then we gotta email it. So it was quite stressful.
It really was. I felt bad because there was just so much stuff to figure out when you're launching something that size. You want it to go well, because the podcast had to come out on Tuesday. That was the one that announced we were doing a Patreon. So it was all very scary and all very stressful. But I think I have a message that I sent to you around the time. It might have been the day that it went live when you were touring. I'm pretty sure. Oh, this is a fun little artifact for you. Patrick McGrath. Patrick, I don't know if you are in the chat today, or even if you still listen to this Paranormal Life, but this was the first $5 we ever received on Patreon.
Wow, cool.
This was the first email that came in that started the chain.
That's bravery, right? Whenever there's a busker playing the street and they've got an empty hat, and it's the first motherfucker with the balls to walk up and toss a coin in the bucket of the Paranormal Pals.
Yeah.
So thank you,
Very
Patrick.
cool.
I was
Very
kind of
cool.
hoping to just see like, oh my God, it's me in the chat, but radio silence. I think we lost him.
We lost him.
He's busy. He's a busy guy. Probably.
He's a busy guy.
You
He's
know,
a very busy guy.
a trendsetter like Patrick, busy guy.
Yeah, of course. But I believe, okay, here we go. Here's the message.
Wow.
So this was the 31st of October. This would have been the day that it went
Halloween,
live.
yeah.
It must have maybe gone live at midnight, I suppose, on Halloween. But there you go. 2 patrons already. Congratulations. Up to 4. We're basically millionaires.
I like that you're congratulating each other as well. Well done. Congrats.
We were
Congratulations on the boy.
ecstatic. As I said, like $100. I was like, we've crushed this.
Well,
Yeah, I mean that's huge. Like for the size of the podcast within between May and October, like that's amazing. That's amazing.
I mean, Rory knows from his work with RKG, which started before TPL, and then TPL. He has launched a couple of Patreons in his time, literally too. And I think because not everyone in life has launched a Patreon, and it scares you shitless.
It's horrible.
Because it's really putting yourself out there, isn't it? To just be like, da-da!
Yeah.
And you are convinced that everyone will just be like, no,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not doing that.
You have a lot of imposter syndrome that kicks in and a lot of self-doubt, and it's very scary. I mean, luckily at this point, because we've been doing the podcast for quite a while, I think we were at that point where a few people in our comments
Yeah.
were like, "Where's the Patreon? Like, we're ready. When you guys are ready, we want to support you."
But in a way,
Which was
you
very cool.
can't sort of like, it's kind of difficult to be like, we'll launch it just for these few. You
Yeah.
almost feel like you need a few more, but yeah, the proof is there. Like the fact that you got $100 very quickly after launching it is huge. It's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, it definitely, it was very reassuring at the time that we had something that we wanted to
The
keep
support was
working on.
already there. It's
Some
great.
people say we should make a bronze statue of Patrick for the commune.
He literally was a day oneer, I suppose.
Bold of you to assume we have
They were on
bronze.
Patreon.
We don't have many minerals left, really.
Then
After the mines collapsed.
then Barney says an iron statue of him would be more appropriate than bronze. Then Brenna says 2 iron statues. Actually, yeah, there were 2 irons in the house. I don't know who they belong to. I never used them. Quite clearly, never used them. Yes, I do love that. Like, we got our first big endorsement from Patrick, $5, and like in the commune square, there's like a big statue of him. It's like, I believe he was our
Patrick
first.
finally comes out of the
founder.
woodwork eventually. He's like, my finger slipped. I didn't mean to click support. I cancelled it straight after for what it's worth.
Oh, I wish we had I don't want to mess with my computer, otherwise I would do this. We should see if Patrick is still a patron.
Do you want me to do it?
Kind of,
I
yeah.
can, okay.
If
All
you
right,
can do
go
it.
on.
All right, I'm gonna try and not.
I'll answer some questions. And read some comments while Kit checks. Oh God, is this gonna be heartbreaking? They're gonna be like, he canceled the next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a long time. Wax and Rye says, "Yo, I always wanted to know about the most expensive redacted tier on the Patreon. Explain." Yeah, that is a tier on Patreon. I don't remember what it is. I think we set it at the maximum amount that you can request. The original plan was to set it at $100,000 because we thought that was very funny. Also wanted to set it at a level we knew no one would ever pay. But I think Patreon maxed it out at like 48 or something like that.
Such an oddly specific number.
Which
yeah.
actually does make it funnier.
Yeah.
That it is such a weird number.
He's gone.
Patrick!
Patrick!
But,
Son of a bitch.
It is a mixed. It's a mixed piece of news because Patrick did. This feels like the ending of a movie, you know, when the screen goes black and then the facts come up. It's like, you know, it's like
Patrick
John
McGrath.
Patrick died later that year, yeah.
Patrick did actually end up supporting, I'll not dox him by saying exactly, but he did end up supporting this Paranormal Life for years.
Wow.
And
Very
we've just
cool.
been going so bloody long. He was like, oh, that old thing, cancel. But that's fine.
Still making stuff?
Hey, the pandemic hit everyone hard. Bro,
I always say this because people sometimes, let me say this to people who are watching, because people will message us very beautifully and considerately, and they'll say things like, I'm really sorry, I got to cancel for X reason, you know, I'm going to come back at some point or whatever. I was like, dude, I've been a patron of so many things, usually for like 6 months or something, or a year, and then maybe I'll come back another time. But like, yeah, it blows my mind, the generosity and loyalty that people have shown us. It's amazing.
yeah, you never have to apologize for canceling a patron.
People come and go.
That's the point of Patreon, is that it's there for people who are able to support the show, which makes it available to everyone.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great system. We really love it, and that's why the commune has worked so well for so long. A lot of fantastic comments here. There are a lot of questions about tour as well. Once we're done with the slideshow, we will probably hang around a bit and do some more just kind of general questions from the commune that weren't answered in the Q&A. But yes, enough about Patrick. It's time to move on. R.I.P. In this
patron.
Paranormal Life lore, Patrick died.
Right.
That's
okay.
what we're going to say.
Yeah.
So R.I.P. to a great one. Patrick.
Well, hey, we
we'll
have a
never
statue.
forget
We
you.
have 2 statues in his honor.
Right.
Good for him.
His family were like canceling his subscriptions, and they were like crying as they did it. They're like, he loved this more than anything. But what are we to do?
Yeah, that's what I think
Patron.
happened.
We love it.
He was like bleeding out, being like, just one more month. One more month.
Yeah, his last word.
His last words were, live fast, press the gate, and die.
Oh,
Die. Yes, die.
We're building a statue. 2 iron statues. All right, let's move on a little bit. We're very excited, obviously, that we didn't embarrass ourselves on the internet. Here you go.
oh wow! No, that's a thing.
So for those who don't know, when the Patreon first launched, we had a number of tiers. Our crucial mistake was putting the shout out tier on $2, thinking that it would be it was like, hey, it's just a shout out, so we'll make that nice and cheap. I think at one point you pulled me aside, which was funny already because there's only 2 of us in the room. You pulled me aside and said, I crunched the numbers, and if we don't get any more people joining the shout out tier,
Right. If we end the shout out tier today,
if we ended it right now, we would be just completing and we did 20 an episode. Something ridiculous like that. We'll be still be doing shout outs
Ooh.
for like 9 months.
How long was
of
the
podcasting.
story? It's like 15 minutes.
Oh yeah. So if you listen to some of the old episodes, it's like a 45-minute episode and then an hour 10 to take you through
Just
shout
shout
outs.
outs.
sure.
That's
It
great.
was crazy. So a lot of lessons were being learned. We had that. We had the T-shirt tier. We had the bonus episode, no after party. But instead of the commune coin, what you got at the highest tier was this. And I will let Kit explain just what in the hell you're looking at right now.
Well, hopefully some of you will remember Lombardi, but it was a tribute in some ways, a meme on the show that came up because our beloved listener, a long-time listener of the show, Marco Lombardi,
Yeah.
emailed in very early on. Robert the Doll episode. Was that it?
He might have been our first listener submission we ever covered, or
Yeah.
something like that. Oh yeah, good shout,
We
Phil.
literally have a bottle of Marco
man,
Lombardi
yeah,
right
yeah.
here.
This was gifted to us, a beautiful carved decanter of whiskey.
You can kind of see it.
Yeah.
You can turn it around as well. It's got another design in the back.
Yeah, this
But,
Paranormal Life.
Oh, I've not even seen that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
But very beautiful. But Lombardi became. We felt that Marco's name, it sounded like a beautiful drink, but also a dangerous one. And it became a kind of one of the earliest, longest running jokes on the podcast was the Lombardi Liquid of the Dead, which made so many people ask, like, well, what is it? What's in it? And so we decided to offer it on Patreon, seemingly before I ever decided what it would be. So this really goes along with the just absolute piece of shit house I was living in and all that. It was like everything was so DIY. So literally I was just like getting bottles together. We printed out all these labels. The top of the bottle there says borderline poison.
That's great. That is
I
great.
think it does say on the back or something. It was like, please, for the love of God, do not drink. I think I said that as many places as I could.
I think we even included like a note that was like, seriously, don't drink this. Like, this is not a drink. This is not for consumption.
And which led to even more speculation, of course. It's like telling a toddler they can't do something. They're going to want to do it. So the more I told people they couldn't drink it, they asked why. And
They said, me drinking,
everyone was like a Furby.
me thirsty.
I guess the type of people who wanted Lombardi were utterly suicidal. But I can quell the rumors. I think I've said it many times over the years. At that time, I was living with all my bandmates and my one of my oldest friends, James Pollock. He was our drummer in the band. He was a real like health nut, and he would make concoctions and stuff in the house. And for a time, he was brewing kombucha in that house in New Cross. So that is the secret of the amber liquid, the murky, weird liquid. Was because when you make kombucha at home, it can go that really like horrible, cloudy,
Piss
bitter-
colour.
yeah, and it looked really nasty. So I felt happy with that. I was like, if someone was at a house party and got drunk enough with their mates to open it, they wouldn't die, but I wouldn't want to do it myself.
Yeah, I actually think when we went on tour in 2023, I think someone turned up to a show with a bottle of. They're like, "Look, I still have the bottle."
Wow.
It was crazy.
No
It was
way.
Really cool.
That's right.
A lot
Aged
of-
to perfection, you might say.
A lot of people asking if Marco Lombardi still listens to the podcast or is still a
We're still
patron.
Patreon.
We're just gonna
On the way to Patrick the crowd.
we're just gonna look everybody up.
Another two
I
statues
haven't
for him.
talked to him recently, but I think it was last year or something. People were saying like, "Where did Marco Lombardi come from?" And he like commented in the Facebook group. He was like, "It's me. I'm still here.
Literally
I
me.
still
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
and
Oh,
stuff."
yeah,
so
he's in the community for
he's
sure.
a cool
Shout
dude.
out Marco.
He's a really nice guy.
There
And
from
yeah,
day
he's
one.
been here since
That's
the
cool.
very beginning, which is very cool. So that was one of the things that we offered on the Patreon. Flash forward now that you boys had a little cash to play with. As you see, the setup
Gorilla pod tied
has
around.
changed. This
Now that we had $100 to our name,
this is when we moved into a house together. This
Yeah.
was me, Kit, Danny, and listeners of the podcast will know my very successful brother Colin,
sure.
Very
who did
successful.
live with us.
He used to be. He was still successful then, just slightly less successful.
Right, yeah, more doing like charity work, more like selflessly successful.
Yeah, he was making a ton of money, but he was like, I'm gonna move in with all these weird guys,
Giving
just
it
to
away.
kind of give money away.
So he was in one room, very nice ensuite. Kit and Danny were in another room, nice ensuite.
That's right.
Rory lived in, in the first Harry Potter book when they're like he lived in a hole under the stairs full of spiders.
Sure.
There's a reason why this photo was taken like this, because that is the room.
This is the room on the other side of the wall, the hole that you made in the wall.
Your feet in this, I think, are resting on the bed.
On the bed.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I used to, because there was a point, I think COVID just started at the end of my time in this room where I was working from home, quote unquote, and I would wake up out of bed, turn my feet to the side, and I was here at this desk.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what it
been there.
was. It was so small.
Been there.
I was like, is that my room? Live in the same apartment?
Yeah, same desk.
And as you can see, we've upgraded from the glass table of Canada Water to this tiny table where the mic stand is now resting on a fan. Now,
Is it
now the
clamped
place is
to the
too
fan?
hot.
Is it clamped to the fan? That's what it looks like.
Held to the fan with a.
Is it gonna like move around like as the fan moves around the room?
These were the days of no video. You could wear like pajamas to the recording session, and have a monstrosity like that.
Good shit.
And that would just be how you recorded the podcast. It was crazy.
A thing of beauty, honestly. So we had upgraded, so the podcast still lived in a box, but now we had the table.
Yeah, I actually have a close up of the table. Don't worry about that, so people can see. There it is.
Right next to the yoga mat.
Why does it look like seeing a nude or something? It's so bright and like, gross.
Yeah.
It's dark. It's disgusting.
The flash on.
So as you can see, this was the table that I think it was designed to be if you had like two tables and you wanted to make an L. That was the
corner.
That was the corner. Cool. But I don't know how we got
against
it
the
or
wall.
why.
Very nice.
And for that reason, it didn't stand using its own support.
I forgot about that.
It would just keel over.
If you put two mics on the same side, on the wrong side, the whole table would
shit.
go over. It was
Which happened.
so bad.
Absolutely.
It was so bad.
But this felt like massive progress because this was possible with money.
Yeah.
Money could buy. I mean, the table is ridiculous and stupid. And with the recorder we had for a long time, the mic stands are not special. But those mics, I think at least I had always dreamed of owning those mics. And the cool thing is, I can say, we are still podding, me and you right now, Rory, on this stream using these mics.
Are they the same same ones as well?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Because they ain't cheap. I remember that felt like a huge financial risk. I think they're about £300 each. And these are kind of best in the biz podcast mics. But it felt like such a amazing investment in the show of being like, wow, we can be as good as any other podcast.
Because again, at that point, it was just audio. So it was like all we had to do was make sure it sounded as best as we could, which was very easy in the tiny room because there was no bounce. It was so small that it was just a bed and blankets and stuff. So there was really no bounce. With these mics, it sounded great. Andrew says, is this the apartment where you played the elevator game? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
It was. I think a lot. This would have been 2 years worth of This Paranormal Life.
Yeah.
Probably when we really hit our stride. A lot of episodes that people love and are very familiar with.
The Illuminati episode.
Yep. I remember that one because that's when... Did one of us have COVID at that point?
Yeah, for sure.
We had, I think either Kit or myself had COVID, but we were living together. So I wish I could find that picture for this presentation. But what we did was basically we had the table in the hallway, and one mic wire went into Kit's room, and one mic wire went into my room, and we were podcasting through like a slit in the door,
like looking at each other through the,
my god,
through the opening in the door across the hallway.
That was a great one as well because it was the Illuminati episode where if you listeners might remember this one, I gave Kit a box at the start of the podcast and said to open it when the time is right. And that was the evidence that was going to turn it into a double yes.
That's great.
And inside the box was just a dollar bill. Oh, it was so good. So good.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing, I mean, because we were having fun, we never tried to not record the podcast, but it also meant that just through every seemingly just thing that would get in the way, every seemingly awful thing that would take place, such as we got COVID. We were we weren't patient 0, but we might have been patient 5. COVID just dropped, and we were sick immediately because we were in London. That was where it was all kicking off, and we didn't stop. We didn't even think to stop when we had a mystery illness that meant you couldn't breathe. We were just like, I could still pod.
Yeah, I remember I lost. Well, my sense of taste changed this was kind of before they realized that was a symptom of COVID. My sense of taste changed for, I think it was about 5 months. Like, no joking, where I remember it started and I threw out all my food in the house
Thinking
because I
that
thought it was
spoiled,
rotten.
yeah.
And then Colin was like, "Oh, you can have some of mine if you want." I was eating it and I was like, "I can't, this is disgusting." And then, like, it went on for so long. My taste didn't come back for ages. It was really kind of scary.
But you're right. Yeah, we didn't know what was happening yet. Yeah.
No clue. I think, yeah, we lost, like, I remember I lost all taste in my mouth at one point beforehand. So all I used to do was eat like fiery hot chicken wings for dinner because I could feel the heat, but I couldn't taste. And then I would just have that with like a glass of whiskey.
Wow.
Because it was just like you can feel the
Oh,
fire,
that's a diet
and
and
the
a
heat,
half.
but
Holy
you can't taste anything. It was really scary.
Yeah.
So through all that, just kept podcasting.
So you
kept
basically
making
went
it.
full Georgian. You just you're like, let me just go to my ancestral diet and see if that fixes everything.
It's like that's what you had for dinner last night. Definitely didn't change.
Wouldn't change a thing, brother.
I'm excited now because I don't really know what is coming next in this presentation. It might be quite a pivotal event that changed the projection of the podcast, but we will see.
Let's see.
Ooh.
Oh! I actually didn't see this coming. I hope a lot of people will remember what this is from. This was the first live show that we ever did.
Yeah.
In this Paranormal Life history.
That's right.
I actually think this was for episode 100.
Wow.
No shit.
Pretty sure we did this live show at the Vaults Festival
In Waterloo.
in
Very
Waterloo. Danny says, first person to get COVID in the flat, and then did the little nail emoji.
One of the first people. Yeah, and it was a funny, not to stay on COVID, but it was, we were all learning about COVID in real time. And it was funny because it was, I think, Danielle, then obviously me being Danielle's partner, then Colin, and then Rory. And I think through that process, we learned what the concept of viral load was because Danielle was like, not great, but fine. Me a little more, whatever. And then it kind of amped up. And then Rory was like, flatlined. He just was knocked out. Shit. Yeah.
Danny said in the comments, it really powered up by the time it got to Rory.
Yeah, it'd have been like, it's like we joined hands, like, and just smoked him.
I remember the last thing I did before I realized I had COVID was I did actually did a live stream with RKG from the tiny room.
Wow.
I remember the entire time I was like sweating, just being like, yeah, you know, maybe I should go over here, like dying. And then the next day I told the guys, I was like, I'm cooked, guys.
Yeah,
I'm so done.
Damn.
A lot of people in the chat remember this. The first show, it was brilliant. The S, episode 100. Yeah, this was such an exciting time for us. Our first ever live show.
What's the backstory behind the S in this photo?
Great question, Philip. Weirdly, right around the time we were doing this, we had made a joke on the podcast or done a rant about the S.
Yeah, the
you know,
S.
just being like, is it paranormal? Where did it come from? How do we all
Everyone
know
knows
about
the S. Yeah.
And it went on for a while. It became like a bit of a meme in the commune. And so we said, because it was around the time we were doing the show, we were like, hey, if you're a member of the commune, if you're coming to the show, draw an S on your hand, and it's the secret symbol, so we know that you're here to see us, because this was actually a comedy festival. So this was one of the venues of, like, you know, 6 or 7 that had a bar in the middle. So before the shows, everyone would come and drink and chat and things like that. But it actually worked out really great because anyone who was there by themselves or wanted to chat with other people who liked the show, you could see the S.
That's cool.
And people started
cool.
chatting and making friends,
Yeah,
and
that makes a
hanging
lot of
out.
sense.
That show was memorable for a few incredible reasons, and I'll rattle through them very quickly. One, the only slot available to us was at 11 p.m. at night, I think. So we did the meet and greet and pre-drinks before the show.
Oh shit!
Wow.
It was a mess. It was like the most rowdy crowd we've ever had in our entire life. Everyone was so drunk by the time we got to the actual show. 2, there was a point halfway through the show where we were supposed to scan objects with an EMF reader, and I forgot to bring the EMF reader on stage. So I said, I'll be back in a minute. And I went behind that curtain and Kit was
I just went. So guys, what's the deal with the ass? I mean, is it new? Is it old? Or what's up?
Oh
and
my
I'm like, I'm in a white hot. You know when you see like, you know when you were like watching episodes of Goosebumps as a child, and it was from the point of view of the beast. That low frame.
The red
rate,
thing like closing in on your yeah.
That's what it felt like backstage. Yeah, the breathing, me just panicking, just hearing Kit being like, "Fuck!"
Oh my!
on stage.
Just heavy breathing down the mic.
Me being on stage was it's when you're left with the one homie who you never hang out with. 1-to-1, like you'll be in a group of 3 and then the connecting homie leaves for a second. You're like, so what's good with you, bro?
So
Oh my god, it was. I told Kid, I was like, by the way, you know, if I didn't find that thing back there, I wasn't coming back out.
Oh my
I was just gonna leave you out there to just experience it. Luckily, it was back there. Thank God. I don't know what we would have done if we hadn't have found it, but it was back there. And I came back out after probably what felt like eternity of being backstage. A lot of people saying I remember the show because I saw a rat on the way to my seat. There were rats. This was underground vaults underneath Waterloo.
That'll happen.
I've performed here I think 3 times, and I've pretty much seen a rat every single time I've been there.
Yep.
But I think the rat is the national creature of the commune, so that goes like that checks out. Then the third and final fun fact about this podcast was we obviously afterwards stayed and drank with everyone until the early hours of the morning. And I think that was the live show where a bunch of people who met that night went and had an orgy.
That's right.
Cool.
Yeah. It was only funny because I remember right before they left being invited to the orgy, politely declining, and then I think it was like the next day we got an email to the inbox that was like,
An email. I forgot.
I need to search to see if it's still there, but it was just like, hey, just wanted to let you know we had that orgy.
Oh my god!
I was like, it was dope.
And it was pretty
It was
awesome.
fucking sick,
Crazy.
actually.
I was like, hell yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, good for you. I don't know if this is an energy I wanted all of our live shows, but as long as it was consensual and everyone had a good time, go for it.
Fair play.
I will say, so far as I am aware, never repeated since. At a few, I was like, wow, if this is a sign of things to come, we better start handing out fucking lube before the shows or something. But it didn't seem to go that way.
Maybe we just stopped getting invited.
Yeah.
they've kept happening, but
Could
we're
be.
not invited anymore.
Yeah. So I don't know. Well, maybe if we wanted to create that energy, we would have it at midnight again and do the pre-drinks before the show.
That's what happens when you do the pre-drinks before the show.
Yeah.
Orgies. A lot of people saying the mascot of the commune is Sock Rat, so it makes
Yeah.
sense to see rats running around.
Guys, I've consumed a lot of liquid.
Go
I
pee.
gotta take a moment.
Go pee,
Okay.
girl. I know
Word.
this is already this is going longer than I thought it would. Just so many great memories to talk through. It's great. Polar Droid says, I can't believe I missed out on the orgy. That sounds pretty paranormal.
Right, I know. It's like if you were at that show, you're now starting to feel a bit self-conscious, like me. But I like to assume that people, granted, I didn't have a wedding ring on my finger at that time, but
That's true.
I think people knew. I think they could sense that I was booed up, and they would, oh, that would be offensive. To
Well, they were like, we already
invite
heard what the
Kate,
apple said.
so-
We don't want to step on the
Yeah,
toes
right,
of the apple.
Exactly. Nothing to do with his looks or his smell or vibe.
Holly says, I've been here the whole time and I've never heard about the orgy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to
that's
say
what I'm
that.
saying. We're starting to. Yeah, we were the odd ones out.
Lime Fairy says, I thought the orgy was a joke. But no,
Nope.
Roy was serious. Not a joke.
Not a joke.
Not a joke. I should have thrown that in. That should have been the next slide that I threw.
I mean, I'll say the orgy. Okay, let's not make it out that it was 90% of the audience. It was a handful of people.
yeah.
It wasn't
We're
100
not
people.
talking.
It wasn't. There's a lot of seats there. It wasn't that many people, for God's sake.
Beth Sia says, celebrating 400 by subscribing to the Patreon. You guys are the only podcast that I'm tuning in for week after week, and I still remember exactly where and when I listened to TPL for the very first time. That makes me very emotional.
Like when Michael Jackson died. That touches my heart. Thank you very much.
Okay. Taking it in a weird direction, but thank you. Also, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, there's a lot of amazing stuff over on the Patreon. As you can see, we've been making content for it since 2017.
Yeah.
The first bonus episode. You want to think about listening to old TPL episodes. The first bonus episode must have been the first year we launched it.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's great. Even I haven't gone back to listen to that episode in a long time.
Yeah, like you don't have to scroll for too long. That's crazy.
That is absolutely insane. Guava Girl says, drinking after the live show with everyone in New York City will be one of my favorite memories in life. I remember
Aw.
betting Rory as we rolled D20s to see who would get a higher roll.
Wow.
Oh, so good. So good. Yeah. This Paranormal Life, the tour that we did in the US and UK in 2023 was a movie for real. And yeah, we're trying to make it happen again in some amazing capacity. Possibly even this year, but we can talk a little bit about that later. Let's move on to the next photo because we're not at the fill era yet, so we've got a little bit longer to go. Don't worry about
We're
that.
BP right now, before Phil.
Yeah. Here you go.
Wow, there's the money shot, all right.
This is what I would say, outside of just launching the show and launching the Patreon, is maybe the most important thing that happened in the career of This Paranormal Life.
Sure.
Was winning our first British Podcast Award. You can see us right there. That's when we rebranded to the new logo with the Patreon Live and everything.
True enough.
And that was... This was back at a time where there was still not a ton of podcasts, and the awards were really new, but still carried a ton of weight.
I'll go grab the award.
Oh yeah, shit, we have it here.
This was I'll just preamble by saying this was back when they made the award out of plastic. There wasn't a comment on us as a podcast.
Right.
The new awards are made of metal and gold.
Yeah, they actually look really cool. Hey,
there it is. It's real.
That's
It
actually
does
kind of
exist.
trippy seeing it in the photo and seeing it in that.
Yeah.
2019 Best Entertainment Podcast, This Paranormal Life.
There you go.
Yeah, they've done all right. These
Oh my
boys.
God.
Very nice.
It was crazy. We're definitely not washed up and living in the past. As we drink beers and look at our award. 2019.
Hey, nominated
I
for a
want a
lot
single
this
one
year.
since, huh?
Nominated for a lot this year.
Glory days.
Always the bridesmaid. Am I right?
Shit.
You good, bro?
Try and not unplug anything.
Okay,
I
hopefully.
think we're fine. Yeah, this was huge. I think it was one of these things where within the week our downloads had essentially doubled. It was crazy
Yeah,
the
lot
bump
of
we got
people
from this.
came in at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, some people listening right now, you might not even know that you might have discovered us from this bump in the podcast.
Yeah.
It was absolutely crazy. Here we go. Moving on to this is pretty much the most recent studio before where we're at right now.
I know. Yeah. Nuts. It's because we were here for a long time.
A really, really long time. This again was a tiny room, maybe even smaller than tiny room. It looks, I don't think I can highlight a portion of this photo with my little pointer. It looks large because there's space behind me, but that is in fact a mirror.
That is a mirror.
Oh,
That is the mirror.
oh,
That is the wall.
oh, damn.
I think I have another photo just to kind of illustrate how small this room was.
oh,
So that was what you were looking at, and then I'm looking at the photo of you. So
Yeah, that actually might be like a 0.5 as well, like wide
right.
angle.
So much room is taken up by just the piano as well.
If Kit sat in that chair, we were almost like knee to knee,
Right.
close. Like me being on the sofa, Kit being there. You were also weirdly like high, and I was also weirdly in this like little chair.
because you were on like a little sofa. Yeah, it was. But again, Roy, what this represented, it was the first time that we had that was my last flat in London, and it was the first time we'd had a dedicated room.
Yeah.
Because up to that, we just had the little desk you saw that got rolled into Rory's bedroom or rolled into my bedroom or whatever. Whereas now we had a dedicated little home office room thing.
It really did feel like a big step up. We had a tiny bit of soundproofing.
Sounded terrible still, but that's
It
fine.
really did. Literally through the support on Patreon, we were able to buy these new mic stands that you see.
Yeah.
And we were able to buy lights for the podcast because we started actually in this room doing video. The first videos you will ever see that we uploaded live were in this room, recorded with 2 iPhones pointing at us.
That's right. Yeah.
just to get something out of it. They looked absolutely horrible. The room in the summer was unbelievably hot. There are podcasts where we have to like stop because we're sweating so bad.
my
like,
God.
You look at the videos and like our hair's like sticking to our head. It's so hot. And then you're like ranting and yelling, and you feel like you're having like a meltdown on a podcast. It was
That's terrible.
I have a lot of great memories. And as Kit said, we were in here for a long time. Maybe even 200 episodes of the podcast got done in this room.
Just a small side note as well. My neighbor, I don't know if he didn't like us or something, but we were convinced he used to just, when he could hear us recording, would just go outside and grab a shovel and start smacking the side of my flat. Because we would be recording and we'd have to stop for minutes at a time because we'd be like, dong, dong, dong.
What?
This is outrageous. This is ridiculous.
Davs Brander says, you say it sounded horrible, but I listen to old episodes literally every day. Yeah, still, I'd say still sounded not great, but I'd like to think every place we've moved, the sound has gotten slightly better every single time. So at this point, I'm sure these sounded great. The episodes that would have been done here would probably be as recent as we did the Ouija board episode here.
Sure.
We did the Cursed Doll episode here. A lot of the newer, more popular This Paranormal Life cases would have been done in this tiny room.
Yeah,
it was a special place.
And and this was mine and Danielle's first apartment together. This is where we brought back Cora whenever she was born. We have lots of memories in this place. And for Danielle, it was a very small flat. You'll remember, Rory. And so she used to talk about hearing. She got to hear, and she does listen to This Paranormal Life, in fairness to her. But yeah, this was a special time when she got to hear literally every episode 2 weeks before it actually came out. So it was hard to be a fan of TPL at that time.
That is, I almost forgot about that. She was here in the house.
Just
A
through
real
the
trooper.
walls. Yeah.
Absolutely insane. This was
You're about to egg this entire crowd.
this is, I include this because not only was it a fun thing that we did, but this was kind of a great way to sum up the COVID period of This Paranormal Life. We were still kind of recording it at your place because literally I think we were a bubble.
Yeah, that was the idea.
you
Yeah.
would be.
Yeah, because we weren't seeing anyone else. I would just go to Kit's house to record and come home in the tiny room. And there was such a long period of time where we couldn't do any live shows. We couldn't do any performance or anything in person, and we were kind of devastated because it had been so long. So what we decided to do was this Paranormal Life London picnic meetup. Do you know any stories about this, Phil? I don't know if we've talked about this before.
No, not really. I don't know. I wish I had context behind the eggs. Like, was there a great egg fight that you guys participated in? Why is that you, Kit, in the middle? Because you really look like Jake Paul in that photo.
Someone says, why is Kit dressed like a Hooters girl?
Oh, I got my ass.
Fiery hobo.
Because, my friend, that's an orgy you're looking at. We got the idea from the previous one. And
Yeah.
kind of
Outdoor orgy
yeah.
during COVID.
That's me setting the ground rules. I'm like, all right, no eyes,
No
stuff.
eggs in the face.
We got this idea from another podcast, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'd heard of, I believe it was Throwing Fits podcast they had done. I'd heard of them doing a lot more elaborate than we would have done, to be fair. But like cool, during the pandemic, they did these kind of outdoor thing and they got them like catered and stuff like that. And we were like, okay, we can't swing the sponsorships to get this thing catered.
Yeah.
But we were like, what we can do is land down to Hyde Park in London of a Saturday and bring about 4 big cooler bags full of beer and juice.
Nice.
Yeah. In hindsight, the goal was to make this basically just a public meetup where anyone can come. We bring the snacks and all the supplies and things, and you were allowed to do meetups outside at that point. So we were like, it'll be a community thing. We can take pictures, do meet and greet, have fun, play games. I remember in our entire career of making the podcast, this was one of the most stressful days we ever had.
Really shouldn't have been.
I think we planned it. We planned it quite optimistically, like 3 weeks ahead. So every week it was like, hey, reminder, we're doing the picnic in London. Reminder, we're doing the picnic in London. I think by the last week, the forecast was 100% rain Saturday.
Oh.
So on that last podcast, we were like, reminder if you want. It might rain, but we are doing,
probably gonna
we're doing
rain
this
now.
thing. Maybe
Honestly,
not.
if you can't make it, you're not missing much.
It's fine.
But,
Yeah, it's tough.
So we had to panic buy a bunch of these are gazebo.
I was gonna say, yeah.
God, I forgot that
we had
bit.
to-
Shelter.
Because I was looking at this going like, that was nice. Someone brought a gazebo. That was me. I brought a gazebo.
we had to panic buy it, then go to a store nearby, buy drinks, snacks, sodas, crisps, everything in cooler bags with blankets, and carry everything into the park. It was like a 45 minute walk with the heaviest bags, because bags of sodas and stuff. Like, arms feel like they're gonna explode. We need to rush there to set up these gazebos. It's pissing rain, by the way. The grass is wet. It's miserable. We don't know if anyone is gonna turn up at all. So we're already like stressed and panicking. So we the story actually even gets better than this. We set up all the gazebos and the blankets and have all the snacks, and we just have like a ton of beers. We have sodas and stuff. We also have like beers if anyone wants to drink. It hits 1 p.m. or whatever the time is we organize it for, and the first people that show up are, I believe, a group of 14-year-old girls.
Shit.
who are just like, is this this Paranormal Life meetup? And I am sweating, brother. I'm about to get Chris Hansen in Hyde Park. I was like, I never thought of this being the way this is gonna play
Show me
out.
the chat logs.
The dad walks in. You invited my girls to the park.
I'm having a panic attack. It was just the worst start possible, but then they were just fans of the show that heard about the meetup, and they just happened to be the first ones to arrive. It was it was very scary. 15 minutes before the next people arrived, and the next people and the next people, and before you knew it, I think I actually have more pictures. We had an amazing group of people that came out.
Oh, cute.
We had drinks and snacks. We did not give alcohol to minors.
No,
we made sure
gotta stress that. Yeah,
they were actually very sweet. I can't believe that their parents just let them come meet strangers in the woods. I was like, who's with you right now? But it actually ended up being a success. As you can see, it actually stopped raining. The sun came out.
It was great.
And we were able to actually pull off this kind of community event in central London in the middle of the pandemic, when a lot of people hadn't been able to attend events in a long time. So it actually was a success.
Yeah, it was a great time.
I think at the end everyone left, and Kit and I, we were trying to close down the gazebos again. 3 of the 8 legs broke, and we were like, just throw them in the bin.
They're gone.
We were
They're
done with
They're
all
done.
of it, I think, by the end.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it was someone's bright idea when it got too dark to hit the pub, and so we all kind of, again, no 14-year-olds at this point, and hit the pub, and yeah, we're arriving with like suitcases full of beer and half a gazebo, and the bar, the security are like, you guys are on thin ice. All right, you sit down in that corner and you drink your fucking pint and you get out. But it was a great night.
We actually did go to a pub after this. Yeah, a bunch of people stayed out, and
cool.
it actually was a really good night. We had a really great time. Again, just such a weird and cool and insane moment from the history of this podcast. Absolutely insane.
Yo,
and then we met this guy.
The most important part, where I show up. Here I am.
This little dude.
This is
right
backstage in LA.
It is
at the LA show. Yeah,
our first show of our 2023 tour. You know what's kind of disheartening is I actually searched my phone for Phil photos. You know what it's like, you can pick this guy.
I see. The thing is, I've got like loads, but I just didn't think to send them over before the live stream.
Well, I was hoping I had some of you and of us like together, but we were so kind of just actually being friends and doing stuff. We weren't like taking like, it would have been kind of weird to be like taking just pictures of you while you're working and stuff like that. But it's true. Phil joined the team in 2023, quite close to the start of the year.
Yeah, that would have been, I think, 27th of Feb. 27th of Feb, 2023.
Yeah, not to be specific, but
not
yeah,
to be specific,
February,
but that
yeah.
is when my review is coming out. So keep my tabs on that date. Keep my tabs on that.
We're actually
date.
doing it
you know.
live. It's one of the
Oh shit! Oh,
review live.
I did a good job, right, guys, this year.
F's in the
You know?
chat already.
Fuck.
It's true. This was 2023 was a huge year for us. We wanted to do a lot of things. We wanted to tour. We wanted to get a studio, but we also wanted to bring someone onto the team full time to join this paranormal life. And we went through I'd like to say a grueling interview process. But there were a lot of applicants and a lot of people that we considered. Phil's application, his CV video was outstanding. It was really fantastic. I was actually going to include it in the presentation, but I was like, that's too far. I don't want to give away the secret sauce.
Yeah, you can't. Well,
They
no,
got
I would
you
have
the
been fine
job.
with that. Oh, okay, whatever.
So
Show them how good I am.
So I think we reached out to Phil to offer him the job. He never responded.
yeah,
Just radio silence
yeah.
for I don't remember.
Probably about a month.
I mean, indefinitely.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we had to chase you.
You did.
I
You
think I
did.
followed up and was like, "Do you want
I
this?"
felt really bad about that.
I think we've maybe said this before, but yeah, because we were interviewing other people, and we were interviewing a couple of other people, and I was like, so Rory, I guess it's between a couple of people, and Rory's kind of like twirling a pen. He's like, what about Phil? I'm like, Phil's gone. He didn't reply. All right, we got to move on with our lives. And he was like, what if he's like,
I can only try.
he's like, he's
try.
like the down bad boyfriend who just wants to text the ex. And he's like, look, what if I just email? And I was like, no, what an insane precedent to set. I was like, we can't chase someone to be like, do you
Well,
still
hey,
want it?
maybe I wanted you guys to chase me. Maybe that's what I wanted. Maybe
God.
I was like,
He got
maybe
his
if I,
way, didn't he?
maybe if I
think-
dangle the bait and maybe see if they,
It's hard to remember, even if you are joking, because I think I did repeatedly say I was Team Phil. At one point, I was like,
I'm not joking 1%.
yeah, there you go. So yeah, I was rooting for you from day
I think
one.
you convinced me. You were like, look, his demo reel and everything was crazy. Let's just one more email. And then Phil got back and was like, oh shit, missed this.
Yeah, I'll
Sorry,
take it.
dude.
yeah, I'll see you. I'll see you in a week. I'll see you in a week. That's basically what happened. Yeah.
But it was Aliens podcast commented saying Phil has 2 iron energy.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
2
bro.
irons, too good for these chums. That's for
This
sure.
is the year of 2 irons. Phil playing hard to get. It was great, man. We started. The fun part of Phil joining at the time he did was it was also the time that we were moving in.
Yeah, hell yeah. I hope you're going to see these photos. Yeah.
To this
3
place.
chairs.
I think these were the photos that I maybe sent Kit to show him what the room was like. To figure out if we.
You definitely didn't send me these photos beforehand. Otherwise, I would have been like, I ain't
I was like,
joining.
that's you on the left, buddy. This is crazy. That's the wall you're looking at right now.
That's
Right.
that window.
This is the set.
Have it up.
Yeah, that's the back wall that we film against. When we went to go see
Crazy.
this place, it was completely empty. And over the years, as you can see, it's been transformed into this little studio that we have.
Yeah. We didn't do so bad.
Yeah, it's amazing. I know the transformation is crazy.
Well, yeah, I remember even on the first day, like, this table that we're sitting at right now, me and Rory were sharing a corner each using, I think, was I using your MacBook or like an old
Maybe.
MacBook and you were using
Maybe
yours?
Rory's.
And we were just doing like the preliminary sort of
Yeah.
stages of like the onboarding and everything. Yeah.
Oh, that was crazy,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Literally sharing the same desk.
There was a time where it was because I think we had like a nice welcome where it was like, hey, welcome, this is gonna be the studio, please trust us. It does look like an insane asylum right now, but it will kind of flesh out. We had a nice meeting, went for some lunches, all chatted, and then Kit was like, and I'm leaving. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know if we mentioned this, I don't stick around.
Yeah. I don't actually live here anymore. So
It's actually going to be mostly
Just
you
you
and
two.
that other guy in the corner. And I was like, back there.
I remember in that, God.
I don't know. I put my hand on Phil's shoulder. I was like, You're amazing, kid. And I think we're really gonna get to know each other, and I think we're gonna have an incredible time. You're gonna bring so much to this team. Anyway, fucking see you. Good
See you in
luck.
2 months, bro. Well, I remember in that first meeting, actually, you guys were sat about here, and I was sat opposite, and you started playing the Indiana Jones theme, and you're like, "So, Phil, we heard you wanted to join this paranormal life. Ain't gonna be easy."
I forgot about this.
It's such a nice little touch. I was like, right, okay, now I know what I'm in for. Now I know what I'm in for.
Okay.
That was it. I was like, I want to make this like exciting and fun. Like,
was
welcome
really
to the
fun.
team. We played
It was
Indiana Jones.
really
and, like,
funny.
it was great. That is crazy that was coming
Yeah.
up to 2 years ago. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought up, that I didn't stick around, because I say this to people all the time, that do you know how frustrating it is for me? Because the context is that I left London a few years ago now. Whenever my daughter was born, my wife and I, Danielle, we decided to move back to Ireland, and that's where we've been since. And I come over and record the podcast and come over whenever we need to do stuff together, and then we work remotely, things like that. And Rory and Phil hold down the fort. Do you know how frustrating it is for me? The years I put in toiling in London in a fucking spare room in the Breeze Block house in the middle of nowhere, only for the moment I leave, we get a luxurious London studio. It's small, but luxurious London studio to operate from.
yeah,
No
yeah,
holes in walls,
yeah. It was a bad time to
The
leave.
timing
right
was
when we get
god
it.
awful.
And it is, I like to say intimate or cozy.
Sure.
I think even right now we are pushing it to its limits.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you, looking back at all the places that we have been in the past, I will choose this place every day.
Well, it was even nice seeing on the best of episode on one of the comments said, like, it's crazy to see how far the studio's come along in just 1 year. Like, this whole shelving unit is filled out with fans, presents and gifts that they've given us at the tour and sent through the PO box, and then
there's another
the whole
photo.
wall is filled up. Yeah, that's literally you. I think you hadn't even built my desk yet. I don't think
The first kind of month of
Wasn't it?
Phil and I working together was him coming in every day to edit the podcast while I assembled IKEA furniture. Listening to dad rock Spotify playlist,
listening to Creed and Nickelback and Weezer. Yeah.
drilling and assembling things.
Great.
And because also it was such a weird setup we had. We kind of never knew what Kit had ordered for the studio, so every day something new would turn up to be
Here's a
assembled.
massive rug that you've got.
I think at one point I was like, brother, stop ordering shit in the studio. It's like, no one's here and I can't keep building.
Ping pong machine.
I haven't
Pinball
done
machine.
work in 3 days because I've just been building stuff. But yeah, look, that was the origin of it right there.
That's crazy.
Isn't that absolutely insane?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, Phil, because that is beautiful. Because you can see from there, Rory just set up the shelves, stuck the Furby on there, stuck a couple of cool things. But you can see it.
Vodka's been there the whole time.
You'll-
The Alien Skull vodka.
You'll see it in
Yeah.
a sec. But it's now fully full to the brim with beautiful gifts that you guys have. I'll get out of the way.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the
Top two. There's more levels below as well.
and the conspiracy wall is absolutely flooded now with
Yeah.
nice pictures and messages and all these things we've gotten from tour and past cases. It's really been fleshed out, and I think it's only going to continue to grow with amazing stuff from over the years.
Yeah.
It was. I think we mentioned it on the podcast, but it was very sweet to. It's very sweet to the rare opportunity where we get someone in the studio who's never been here before, like Emma, Real Life Ghost Stories, or Reese Darby and Dan Schreiber when they came to pod, and Reese and Dan really loved the wall.
Yeah.
As soon as they came in, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna need one of those."
Yeah.
They were just studying it. So Roy did a great job.
Yeah, it's been a work in process, but I think we're all pretty happy with. I mean, even now, I think the video looks actually pretty cool and good and like homey and personal, but professional. It's a nice mix. A lot of people asking about the space. People saying it looks more like an office space. Is this a tiny apartment that you rent as a studio? It is. It actually was being used as an office space before we moved in. I think they crammed like 8 people in here.
Something like that. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
that was
think
like 6 or
didn't they
something.
have like, I don't know, 2 long tables, and it was I think they
had a lot of people
about
in here.
6 or 8 people. Yeah.
They did, and I think for what we use the room for, it really is fantastic. Someone also said the ceilings are very high. They are. It's almost like double high ceilings.
Yeah, it's cool.
Slightly frustrating. Almost wish they weren't. It
Yeah,
wasn't.
not
Can we
amazing
take
for
some of that
podcasting.
and put it here?
elsewhere? Yeah,
That would
yeah,
actually
at
be
the
pretty
side.
good.
Makes it feel nice.
But it's great. Every time Phil and I come in and work here, especially when we're not recording, we kind of get to put everything aside, and it is a very cozy space, especially over Halloween where we just filled it full of decorations. and
Bro,
stuff.
we've still got the Halloween chandelier up on on the
Yeah.
light of the.
We gotta take
You got
that.
bats
out.
on
yeah,
the door,
you
yeah.
gotta take that down. You gotta take that down.
Natalie says 50-gram protein shake, good choice. As you can see on my counter right there, that is
Part of the meal deal. Very
Yeah.
nice.
It is part of the meal deal.
Nat
Very
knows.
nice.
Nat knows.
Someone said, "Is Weezer dad rock?"
It's definitely going that way,
It's
isn't
getting
it?
there.
Yeah.
It's not Nickelback or Creed dad rock.
And Strange John says, 2 markers. Someone's earning.
So we're seeing a pattern with Rory. See that? Two bottles on the desk.
Oh
two
yeah,
markers.
yeah. 2 cameras.
2. That's what I love to see.
It's almost as if Rory is a clone and he just swaps out with his clone throughout the day.
Well, hey, that first ever photo of you two. I mean,
Oh,
could be a
shit.
clone. Could
Oh,
be a
shit.
clone.
Yeah, me living in Ireland is a good excuse. isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Did you ever see us in the same room at the same time?
Someone left a comment asking, have we ever used the basketball hoop that's in the background? He's already laughing.
We used it like a couple of times.
We had to ban the hoop.
Yeah, it's out of commission. It is out of commission. I think
to ban it.
actually you put it up, and then at one point, I don't know, we were having a meeting with Kit or something like that, or we were just chatting. Oh no, we must have been on some meeting because like
I'll tell you what, Phil, it was a devastating tour planning meeting.
yeah,
that
because
I think had gone on for 3.5 hours
yeah,
over lunch, where it was just batting off problems nonstop. And then
What was it that you
I
said?
ended the call just completely deflated, went over to Phil's desk, and I
ball in hand.
just ball in hand, just completely destroyed. And I think I said something along the lines of, at least we got the hoop. Threw a ball, it hit the net that then bounced off of the wall. The entire hoop came off and like hit the desk and wiped it clean of every object.
Just immediately burst out laughing.
It was so sad. At least we got the hoop. Just, all right, we don't.
So good.
It was
So yeah, it's been out of commission for a long time. Those balls.
It actually, I like the aesthetic of it being there. It is kind of like a little bro-y, admittedly, kind of the exposed brick and the basketball hoop. But I think we should move it to somewhere where we could
actually
use
play it.
That's way too precarious.
I don't think
Yeah.
it can ever be used in a space this small. I'm going to be completely
Well, I
honest.
mean, dude, there's so like every
so
time he's
dangerous.
thrown the ball in the office, I'm like, bro, there's so much liquid and so much
Yeah.
stuff here.
Also,
There's
2
always-
balls. Someone's earning.
don't encourage them.
Just saying.
2 balls. And that pretty much takes us up to the current day, of course, except for really one of the biggest things that we managed to pull off in recent TPL history, which we can commemorate with a little video montage that was
Ooh.
created by the one and only editor Phil.
It's time to find out at This Paranormal Life.
Those glasses.
Cartwheels and everything.
We've been doing this show together for 6 years now. And when we started it, you know, it was just a way for us to hang out, make each other laugh every week. And somehow in that journey, we stumbled into everyone here tonight. This amazing community of people who listen to the show, who come to the shows. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you guys for buying tickets and making it happen. Hell yeah.
And we're here. We made it to the Hackney Empire.
Yeah, Hackney. New York City, this has been This Paranormal Life Live. Remember to live fast, investigate, and die young, baby.
Wow.
Damn, that was... Who was that? That was somebody else. I don't know who that was. That's
I know.
crazy.
I love that video so much. I was actually
Yeah.
kind of devastated we didn't make a horizontal. I forgot it was only social.
I know. Yeah.
Crazy, because
Well,
all
I
that
think
footage is gone.
Oh, it's gone.
We
Incinerated.
wiped
Bye bye.
that stuff. I don't know where any of that is now.
Yeah, that's why we have to go back on tours because we didn't get the widescreen video.
Yeah, it was.
What a blast! I think that really nicely encapsulates just the whole vibe of it.
Yeah,
it was really great.
Well, it's because it includes these guys, for the love of God.
These three.
Yeah,
it really does. Yeah, that was a huge thing for us, tour, for a lot of reasons. But one of them was that we finally got to go out to a bunch of places we haven't been before and meet people who listen to the show and perform live and bring this Paranormal Life from the studio to you, people all over the world. It was really a magical experience. And, while 2024 has been also incredibly eventful for its own reasons, launching things like Campfire, going to Puerto Rico,
Fringe.
having incredible guests, doing Fringe. I feel like it's definitely been a year of planting our feet in the ground, building this studio, setting up this team and this podcast in a way that now that 2025 is here, it's the year of action.
It's the year of action.
The year of action.
Hell yeah.
Very excited for all of the incredible things that we have planned for the podcast and for you guys in 2025. So thank you for being here for 400 episodes.
Oh man,
wow,
the big 400.
It's crazy. It is crazy. It's so great to, like Rory's talking about the chat, and it's so awesome to recognize so many names. And yeah, just couldn't appreciate it more. Thank you so much for sticking with us all this time.
So many nice comments. Live fast, investigate, die young. Rory and Kit are our two irons. And a lot of
no one knows where they came from or who they belong to.
And a lot of requests for people to visit their hometowns for the next tour. People saying, please come to Toronto, please come to Seattle. Yeah, I think it's still too early to kind of talk about tour plans for 2025. I think all we can say is that there are plans.
Yeah,
hopefully
we're working as hard as we can on it.
Fingers
Absolutely.
crossed to do a tour again in 2025 and to go to more locations, hopefully, than we did last year.
Yes.
Some of you will still have to travel, but you will have ample time to prepare for the travel.
Yes.
Do not worry. So many nice messages. Oh my God. Here's to 400 more. Congratulations, you guys. Love you guys. You dudes are blessed. Please come to Colorado. Can't wait for future live shows. Thank you so much. Man, this has been so much fun. Such a joy to do this live stream. It's been great. Hopefully you guys enjoy the 400th episode of the podcast. But honestly, this was kind of a cool little trip down memory lane. I can't believe we went all the way from the origins to this.
Yeah, so much stuff I've never seen. It's good stuff.
This was almost an episode of the podcast investigating us. Like our story today begins in 2007. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, it's funny showing Phil the beginnings. He's like, yeah, I've never seen this before. Really glad I joined at this point.
I'm really glad I hopped on when I did.
Pretty
actually.
awesome to skip
When the
some of that
money's
earlier
rolling
shit.
it. We're not in New Cross anymore. Or having COVID.
It's like that goofy meme. Phil's like, damn, girl, you live like this? To the New Cross apartment.
Hole in the wall.
Hole in the wall.
Oh, it's true.
Unbelievable.
Glad I wasn't there for the hole in the wall era.
Patrick says, would you guys do Fringe again?
We had a crazy time at Fringe, didn't we?
Oh,
It
Fringe
was
was
very,
amazing.
very great.
We had a great time. It really was amazing. I think we'd love to do it again. Just figuring out how we would do that alongside something else might be a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, trying to prioritize tour, but not ruling out Fringe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there'll be a show near you if you're around Fringe, and we do manage to pull it off. So I wouldn't worry about that. Amy asked the chat, "Are we giving TPL a double yes or a double no?"
Oh,
I think that's up for the viewers to decide, right?
Yeah.
I think that's up for the viewers to decide, right?
Fiery Hobo says the TPL crew gets a triple yes.
Hey, there you go. The rare triple yes.
I mean, there's over
sometime
300
soon.
people in here, so I'm hoping those are terrible odds for getting a triple yes, and that's it. Hopefully, there's more people than that. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this little live stream. I know I had a blast. I was just talking to the guys and saying that because this has kind of gone well, and there's been no incredible technical complications.
Surprisingly.
If you enjoyed this, maybe we can do more live stuff in the future whenever Kit is over here to record, whether that's more live streams, more behind the scenes stuff. Some people might want to see the Mario Kart rivalry presented in live form.
Hey, it's got to happen. It's got to happen.
I did think, I was like, could I surprise the guys at the end by being like push a button and it goes on the monitors. I was like, I can barely
You
put
better
together a
believe that
slideshow.
I'm ready. You better believe that I'm ready.
Yeah, I think I need to train for that one. Maybe 450 or something.
I like it.
So yeah,
I've been drinking as well. Like, shit.
but I'm glad everyone is here, by the way, on the YouTube as well, because one big thing that we're doing a lot of in the new year is stuff on YouTube, video content, cool stuff, behind the scenes, and extra things that will live kind of outside the podcast. So thank you for being here. Make sure you subscribe. Any parting messages, gentlemen, before we leave the loving commune out there?
Thanks for everything. To all the supporters on Patreon, all the people who watch on YouTube, you know, all of us put, you know, our heart and soul into this show. Or at least I do anyway. I don't know about these guys, I don't know about these fellas, but I totally do.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've met so many of you lovely people out on tour. You know, I'm super excited to, you know, maybe get back out there again on tour. That's all to be decided. But yeah, really looking forward to the future and what TPL has to offer in the next few years. Or
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you know, happy 400, and a happy 500 when that happens.
Woo! Hoo-ah.
All I have to say is, the problem with Orbit's cop car is it just I think now is a good time. I think now is a good time just to clear some of the air, because there's been a lot of
Justice
aggro
for Val
in the
Johnson.
you know, with Val Johnson, and also with Shaq Carpenter. We have time to talk about Shaq Carpenter. I think we can, you know.
I don't want you to reduce the Val Johnson incident to Orb hits cop car. All right, that was a man.
I think that was the name of the episode, wasn't it? UFO hits cop car.
It might have been the name of the.
Yeah, but is it better than if you see this ghost ship run?
Yes.
So, I mean,
Rory has a way with words.
He's a real wordsmith, our Rory.
Jesus Christ.
No, nothing I could say better than Phil just said it. So thank you so much for tuning in, for joining us here on YouTube. What a pleasure this has been. Can't wait to do it again, basically.
I love it. We are all going to go grab some dinner together, I think.
Okay, let's do it.
That's going to be our little 400 treat. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone, to celebrate episode 400. We will be back very soon. Go enjoy the episode. It is out now. It's out live. You can listen to myself and Kit doing 2 very large shots of alien vodka.
Much more than I had. Much more than I had.
So thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Remember, everyone in the chat, to live fast, investigate, and die young, baby! Woo!